Yes, it is. A colleague of mine once asked me whether the new project that he will join will require a lot of meetings. And I know this guy from several years, and I know that this guy doesn't like meetings at all. And I asked, several months after the project started, I asked other team members whether they feel the meetings are too many in this project. And some people said that meetings are okay, fine, serve the purpose. Others said that meetings are quite many. And one guy said that we have too few meetings. And this only proved that the same fact can be seen from different people in a different way. But unfortunately, didn't give me the answer, which is important today. Do we like the meetings? And I wonder if we as a group, do we like meetings or not? So in order to find out, probably you said no right away, in order to find out, let's make a short poll. Please, all of you who ever felt happy about a meeting, to raise a hand. You probably met somebody interesting, probably a decision has been taken that clears your way to get the job done, yeah? And how many of us felt sick about meeting? So boring that we're sick, okay? And how about being angry in a meeting that you need to go out to break something to relieve yourself? Hopefully not a person. Okay. So obviously many of us voted more than once. What does it mean? That the answer of the question, do we like meetings or not, is only one. And the answer is, it depends. But from what it depends? That's interesting. In order to go deeper in this, let's make a history slide. In the year of 1965, this gentleman released a book. And the book says that there is a problem. At that time, the problem has been seen only in C-level management in the organization. But in general, he says that bad meetings are indicating bigger problems in the organizations. Meetings are not bad. They just show that the organizations have bigger problems. And these problems generate human suffering, anger, lethargy, and cynicism. If we see the meetings, just the meetings, they're simply boring and ineffective. And the gentleman suggested several types of meetings, how we can conduct them, and so forth and so forth. Since then, the problem didn't disappear. What we have is just more data. For example, in the year of 2005, IBM did internal research. What's the biggest time problem in the organization? And 37% of the people, most of the people declare that 37% of their work time is unproductive. And ironically enough, they pointed that reason number one is the software they use. Right? We can make a lot of jokes about Microsoft using inefficient software, but we all know, at least those of us who work for big organizations know that the price for being big is sometimes be ineffective. And the problem number two were the meetings. They said that they spent 5.6 hours in meetings per week. And they say that 5.5% of this time is lost, which means that 1.1 hour, which is 6 minutes a week, is effective meeting. Well done. Later, in the 2012, Harvard Business Review surveyed a lot of seniors, and majority of them said that meetings are unproductive and inefficient. Then Sharp did the same thing. And it seems that 10% of that people actually invented a reason to get out of boring meeting instead of dying in the meeting. And last, as this research, is the Atlassian poll. They calculated that majority of the people, they dreamed during the meeting, or missed intentionally, or accidentally a meeting, slept during the meeting. Probably every one of us ever saw a colleague who's snoring during the meeting. Shut up, wake up. Half of the people say that we are overwhelmed. Are you overwhelmed by meetings? A lot of people, yeah. We do other work during the meeting, and half of the people say that this is #1 time waster of our time. And it costs US economy $37 billion per year. But still, we make meetings. Why do we do so? We have to have a good reason for that. And I hope you have meetings not because of those reasons. If you see this poster in your kitchen, you definitely have to change something in the way you meet, because somebody gets sarcastic, and that's not a good thing. Still, we have obviously good reasons to meet. During my research, I pulled for you 4 of the most common reasoning for people to have meetings. The first one is to inform people. You either want to share or to receive information. The second one is to invent something. You gather to figure out the new way how to solve a particular problem. Or to agree on a way how you will continue. The code of conduct or the policy of how we code stuff, and to decide stuff, like making plans and so forth. With the good comes with the bad. So this is something I prepared for you, and I would like to engage you to help me to figure out which are the 7 top reasons we hate about the meetings. In order to do that, please take your phones. I see your experience in going to Slido, and let's have this poll. I'll do it as well. Please, guys. Only me and someone else? Okay. Someone talks all the time. Unfocused discussions. Okay, we have a leader. Not anymore. Obviously, Mislav somehow told you what bothers him in his talk, so you recognize some of the problems he talked in the previous talk. Okay, I believe that we have a leader. Please feel free to continue voting. And the point of this is that I want to leave it for you. So after the meeting, you have a baseline. What was your impression? at that particular moment. What's the worst thing in a meeting? And I hope that during the course of this talk, I will give you some way to change some of the things that you hate about meetings. So, this will be open. Did we remember it? Unfocused discussions obviously are the biggest pain. No agenda is quite important. Too many participants, meeting length, host, or somebody is unprepared. Someone talks all the time. As you can imagine, I do this not for the first time. So I did this poll several times. And no wonder the results are not very different. So what I will do, I have picked several of these, and I will talk for each one of it. And the format will be always the same. Why it happens, should we address it, should we do something about it in order to change it, and how? Hopefully this will help you do it in your organizations, in your meetings, in your daily life. So the first one I picked, and the order is not accidental. The order is done in the that way, because I believe that some of them are related. So if you remove one of them, others can disappear, just because removing the reason. The first one is people come late. Why people come late to a meeting? Is it common in Serbia? In Bulgaria, it's very common. And in Serbia, how is it? And why people come late? Because they feel that something else is more important or more fun. Could be, yeah. Biology is something that we do not comment. You need some 3 minutes between meetings.
Because they feel it's not a big deal.
Exactly. They feel something is more important. And there is one more thing. They believe that they can catch up in the meeting. If the meeting is 1 hour, if you come on the 10th minute, you're good. You have still 15 minutes to catch up. If the meeting is 10 to 15 minutes and you come on a 7th minute, it's gone. You're too late. So, should we address it? I would. And I often do. And how? We usually start the meeting at the right time. And we make more, but shorter meetings. Just so you don't feel that you can jump in the middle of a meeting and still be in the meeting. You're not there. No agenda. This is something that I believe is quite important and could, hopefully, make others disappear. What means no agenda? It means no goal. We simply do not have a goal for this meeting. We don't know why we are gathered to discuss, what we are gathered to discuss. Should we address it? Absolutely. Always. And how? If you're an organizer, that's easy. You heard Subby speaking about meetings and you notice that you do not put agendas to your meetings. Done. But if you're a participant and you're invited to tons of meetings without agenda, how to address that? Well, it's not so difficult. Every meeting that you receive an invite for, you just ask, what's my role? How should I prepare? And what do you expect from me? If those 3 questions have been answered by the organizer, you'll know why you're there. And if you ask 122 times the organizer of the same meeting, what's your role, what's expected, and how to prepare, I guarantee that the next time, 124th, the guy will send in advance to you, maybe, what's expected and how to prepare, and so on and so on. And it works. I did it several times. In 4 or 5 times, it's still done. Too many and various topics. It could happen because We start a project and we gather a meeting with all the people that might possibly be involved in this project ever, and then we continue to hold this meeting. And it could be just a habit. And we start talking with all these people for everything. Or we have a meeting with the team once a week for 2 hours just to sync up. And we talk for everything that is in our project. Do we should to address it? Well, if you complete all the topics and it works for your team, yes. But for me, it seems like consuming different kind of alcohol. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's really epic fail. So we just have to be careful. And how to address it? Well, make short meetings. They cannot be done flood with a lot of topics. And you can discuss it with the organizer, of course. Too many participants. As I said, it could be a habit. Just we gather to discuss everything. And also, there is something that we have to understand. Meetings are a tool. We, as a social animals, believe that we understand meetings, but that's not true. Meetings are really a tool, and we learn to master it and to get most of it. And this takes time. Should we address it? Well, it's simply a respect for everyone's time. If you respect your time and somebody else's time, you probably try to make it more efficient. And again, how to address it? Well, ask if your presence is needed. You see that there's a whole gang, the half of the company is on a meeting. So what's the point? Topics concern only few of the participants. Well, no wonder what we have so far. No agenda, too many various topics, too many participants, so topics concern only few of the participants. Of course! So this is absolutely natural. Well, again, it's a waste of time. Should we address it? Well, why not? And how? Well, just complain to the organizer that you maybe not be needed. Or go to the agenda and say, why do we need this guy? For which topic? Or am I needed for this topic? You see a topic which does not concern you, and you go and ask, am I needed? So the meeting is 1 hour, and there are 4 different topics, and you might be probably needed for one of them. So you go and challenge the other 3, and you say, am I needed for the other 3? Unfocused discussions. There are people that have a habit to stray from the topic. They started talking about one thing, then jump to another, then third, and then when you hope that they will go to a first one, they start talking about the vacation they had last week. And you get bored. Or you do not get the work done. So at the end of the meeting, you didn't achieve what you came for. So should we address it? Well, of course. If it is only blah, 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 you cut it out. But if this person is the most experienced guy, and whilst training from the topic, he explains about the customer, about the new module, about the old module, about why we did that, and about other modules and important stuff around the project, and you get benefit from it, probably you have to leave this person to talk a little bit more. But you have to decide for yourself, do you have benefit from it? How? Go to the agenda. Put it on you. I don't, for example, you may say something like that, I don't really see how this relates to the topic we're discussing. Bless you. People do not pay attention. Well, if they are not concerned, they shouldn't pay attention. But there is one thing that you have to be cautious about. If somebody does not pay attention, but should, for example, 3 of the people of your team do not pay attention in a meeting which is very crucial for the thing that you will do next 2 weeks, and if they do not understand what the product owner is saying, then you have to explain them, then the whole team performance will be damaged because somebody had an important Skype message, for example. So at this point, I would suggest to you that you bring this person back into the topics. But if you're organizers, that's important. If you are organizers and you see people do not attend, you have to know this is feedback for you directly. This feedback means you didn't do a good job. This is a poor meeting. You have to do it better. You have to plan it better. You have to pick the attendees better. You have to pick the topics better. So organizers, those of you who are organizing meetings, if you have people that do not pay attention during the meeting, that's a message for you. Key people are missing. All of you probably know that we want to decide something, but the decision maker is not there. What happens? We just talk, but there is no one to take the decision. So there is no point. But there is also another example when the experts are missing. We all like to think that we make decisions based on information. But if the experts are missing or people on the field do not tell you what's really the problem or the most contemporary information, then it's not decision based on information. It's decision that is pretended to be based on information. But how to get an expert on a meeting, that's a difficult thing. Because managers believe that this is their kingdom, meetings. So I prepared for you something to illustrate how to bring an expert to a meeting. This is a scene from a movie, Hidden Figures. Do you know the movie Hidden Figures? Space race, America and Russia are racing for the space, and they're doing all the trajectories, the math for the rocket launch and bringing back the capsule by hand. So whatever changes, they get this pile of papers, throw it, and start doing it again. So it's very important that the experts, the people on the field, attend the meetings where the data is changing. But how to bring those people into the meeting is a tough question. So let's see the scene. It's 1 minute.
Mr. Harrison, I would like to attend today's briefing.
Why is that?
Well, sir, the data changes so fast. The capsule changes, the weight and the landing zones are all changing every day. I do my work, you attend these briefings, I have to start over. Colonel Glenn launches in a few weeks. We don't have the math figured out yet.
Why is it she can't attend?
Because she doesn't have clearance, Al.
I cannot do my work effectively if I do not have all of the data and all of the information as soon as it's available. I need to be in that room hearing what you hear.
Pentagon briefings are not for civilians. It requires the highest clearance.
I feel like I'm the best person to present my
You're not gonna
calculations.
let this go, are you?
No, I am not.
And she is a woman. There is no protocol for a woman
Okay,
attending
I
these
get
meetings.
that part, Paul. But within these walls, who makes the rules?
You, sir, you are the boss. You just have to act like one, sir.
You keep quiet.
Thank you.
Ta-da! And they are in the meeting. So, some things I would like to highlight for you. So, see how humble she is? You're the boss, sir. You're the boss. And stays humble. So who is really taking the power? Well, the one with a plan. In nowadays, the leader is not the one that holds position or something like that. It's usually the one with a plan, or the guy who takes the responsibility and is confident that this is his responsibility and show it. So can you imagine this woman, 60s, woman, no clearance, she's civilian and she's black. This is dead end for her. But still she manages to get into that meeting because she's good, because she shows she is good, and because she's working like a dog to be good. So the only thing that is missing is somebody to trust in her, her boss. So how is that? In one of the talks, the Zen of, can you help me? What was the talk, the Zen of Python? One of you asked the questions why we don't teach the managers what developers do, but instead trying to teach the developers how to talk to managers. Well, this is pretty simple. This is the API. This is the way, this is the language that managers understand, and this is the API. And we all know what is API, right? This is the allowed language. This is it. You don't have anything else. So, it's not that managers are stupid. Just developers and managers should work as a team and see each other as a team. And here is what I want to say about the key people are missing. Please see your managers in the worst possible scenario as people that transports messages from the field, from the people that are actually doing the work, development, to the decision makers. So, if the decision makers, which are usually people that do not have technical background, if those people do not understand the reasoning of the development, they obviously cannot take good decisions. So that's why managers feel that they have to twist a little bit the message through the way in order to management to understand it. So if in the beginning you understand what management wants, you can formulate your message in the beginning in the way that it goes through the channel without changing. And thus, you're giving the message. And the other way around, if the top level succeeds to explain very well why we're doing this and that and why it is important to be done this and that way, then it's a team. Other than that, it is simply not. It's two boats. So, think about when key people are missing, how and what we should say in this meeting to get it properly understood. People come unprepared. Well, we usually believe that we're smart enough or do not have enough time to prepare ourselves. So that's why we jump in a meeting and say, whatever it comes, we will figure it out right now and we are good to go. Well, it's not. Usually the time that you invent something during the meeting is not more, is more than if you invent the same thing offline, on your own. If you know how to be prepared for a meeting, you sit down for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it takes and go to the meeting prepared. And it goes smooth. And if everyone does that, it will be a good meeting. Short, efficient, with good result. How to address it? Well, you can suggest that we are not prepared for this topic. And say it out loud. Say, guys, we are not really prepared to discuss this topic. Let's do a research. I'll take this part, and somebody else take this part, and somebody else take the third part of it. But let's do it in another session. We're losing time right now. We will spend 1 hour to discuss possibilities. Let's do a research. So this is absolutely valid that anyone can say it. Someone talks all the time. Well, there are people that monopolizes the meetings. And we used to see this in trainings. But I suggest to you to see trainings and meetings as a different things. They may look alike, but if you consider them as different things, it will be easier to make them more efficient, both trainings and meetings. So if we have somebody who likes to hear his or her voice all the time, it's a tough one. And it could be addressed as well, leaning to the agenda. Are we talking about the same thing? And do we have different opinions? The problem is when this person is your boss. That becomes tough. But still, I tend to think that we have to address even the boss consuming the time of 10 people. Can you imagine 10 people sitting for 1 hour listening about the great new idea which will happen? This is 10 man-hours. And it might be time lost. So how to address the boss taking all the time? Well, gently. But still, rely on agenda. Put it on you. Sorry, boss, I might be too stupid not to understand how this correlates to the initial topic where we started, but can you explain to me? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there is no 100% happiness, right? This is the last one. I saw a lot of people complaining of meeting extending too long. And I saw no one complaining that meeting ends before it is planned to end. But still, meeting length is a problem. We expect to end a meeting, as one of the colleagues said. I've been just from another meeting and run to jump into another one. Well, and if the first one gets longer with 5 minutes, then we're late for the second one. And people that would like to be fair with their colleagues and to respect their time don't want to do that, don't like doing that. So, if the meetings get prolonged because you're doing very useful thing, because somebody start talking something very interesting, something very important, and you couldn't take decision about the piece that you were discussing, well, leave it be. If you can, and if it is useful, leave it be. But if it is all the time, and every meeting tends to go over the planned time, well, cut it out. How to do that? Well, there are plenty of ways. You can say, I have planned to continue 2 more tasks today, so I have a hard stop. Sorry, but I cannot attend more than 5 minutes more of this meeting. Or 15 minutes before the end, for example, of the meeting, you may say, obviously we're not going to complete everything that we have planned. Of course, you have to have agenda. Sorry. But you may say, we obviously cannot complete everything. So, shall we do another meeting? Or which one of those we would like to cover today? This is a clear sign that somebody in the meeting watches the time, watches the agenda, and have a plan. Let's pick one and complete the meeting. So people understand that this is a reminder. We have only 15 minutes. So whoever talked. Whoever listened. We have only 15 minutes. So this is some way. We spoke about nasty things in meetings, but in order to use the meetings right, we have to understand that meetings are not designed to fix poor communication. They might be raising a flag for poor communication, but they do not fix. More meetings do not fix poor communication. Poor communication happens when let's say we are thinking more about how to express ourselves, our genius ideas, instead of thinking how these things that we will say will be perceived, what would be the effect of what we say, whom this message should be addressed to. So when we think more for ourselves than the others, this is poor communication. Secondly, during the meeting, we do not work. The work gets done when we work. My favorite is when I ask somebody from my teams and say, what's the status of this particular problem? I spoke with the IT. Oh, well, and what happened? They said that they know about it. So? And it goes. It is not anymore responsibility of anyone. They just met and discussed the problem. So this is not work done. Work is done when we sit and work. And meetings are not trainings. Meetings are not trainings, meetings are not talks. This is not a meeting, right? My ideal meeting would be sharp and focus. Agenda will be clear, and we would have a goal. Really clear goal. Everybody would know the goal. There will be invited only people that will bring value. Only those. Just passing by and seeing a nice meeting and can I stay? No. You cannot stay. If you're not part of the team, if you don't bring value, go and make yourself a cup of tea or coffee. Short and often. Often conducted short meetings. That's something that in my experience, worked better. Actions and decisions at the end. So we discussed a lot of things, but if nobody takes responsibility to do something, there is no point of this meeting. We just wasted our time. And I think that we have to be the change we want to see. Somebody claimed that Gandhi said that. I don't know. But I truly believe that this is true. So, by default, organizers of the meetings are the moderators of the meetings. That is not necessarily the rule. Everyone can be moderator of the meeting. If somebody of you now stands up and asks me several questions, who is moderating the talk? It's not me. So, my point is that you can lean the meetings discussions wherever you want. Secondly, the comments. You can do comments during the meeting. If somebody comes late, we can say if we have good relationship with this person, we can say, for example, well, come on, buddy, we're late, and I have things to do. Please, respect me. Or we can be more mean. I think this is not good, respected in this organization to come late. Yeah? You can do many, many things. You decide how. Go speak with the organizers or the guys that are doing something that you want to change. Take offline decision. Be example. If you want a meeting to start on time, well, for God's sake, be on time. You have to be on time. If you got late, how we are going to change the meetings to start on time. And last, take it on you. If somebody doesn't want to do something and you believe that it really changes the way we meet and will bring value, well, take it on you. If you believe that meeting minutes will improve the way we meet and we will have a track record, what we discussed, well, do meetings. You have to prove to others that this is valuable, so somebody willing to take that. In order to help you, I've prepared a challenge. If you go on this Google page, you'll find 2 questions. Those 2 questions says, I want to change, or I changed, something in the way we meet. And the second question says, how I achieved that. The point is that by answering these 2 simple questions, you think of what we just discussed and try to change something for good in your organization. And this is just a reminder for you to go and put it yourself as a task. Probably not with high priority, but just my point was to help you do that in your organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Subby.
Thank you.
We have a few questions if you would like to answer, maybe for a few minutes.
Yep, sure.
So they're like the top voted ones. Maybe
Yeah.
we can pick them off.
Scrum meetings. Which Scrum meetings? All of them. Well, you probably I'm not the first guy that will tell that, and you've read a lot about it, that the Scrum can be implemented in a good way and in a bad way. So I've seen Scrum that doesn't work, but really shitty Scrum, which is Scrum by book. And the people that Germans, they read a book and they apply it, and that's it. We have planning, we have daily meeting, and that's it. But they do not understand, well, at least those guys that I worked with. They were quite new into the software development, and they do not understand why we're doing that, why somebody suggested that. So if somebody reads very well the 4 rules of Scrum and understand well why we do that and see if something works, they're quite handy. I've seen very good Scrums. So there is no one answer to this question. Schedule short meetings. I believe the meeting should be scheduled. No matter how short it is. It should be something that is scheduled. Because if we're talking about coming on time, well, if you don't know when is on time, obviously something's wrong with the organization. Do you know about that? Well, sync meeting is something which sounds awkward in any way. If we don't know what we do on a daily basis, sync meeting, it won't help at all. It just sounds stupid. So I do believe there is a good thing to have a dedicated place where you can talk about everything that you couldn't discuss during the meeting, but something that calls syncly meeting and you rely on that to get synchronized is something that I don't see very efficient, not because of the meeting, because of the other part of the week. If you're not synced every day, not necessarily by meetings, you can be describing your tasks and your statuses so well that everybody can get up to date offline. For example, 2 of my teams work with the States with 10 hours difference. Do you know how much time they have each day to sync up with the colleagues on the other part of the ocean? 30 minutes. If they get very early and we stay quite late. So there are 12 people in Sofia that have to stay late to sync up, and there are 7 to 10 people in the States that have to wake up too early to get sync. So what we are inventing right now is the way that we give status and give tasks, give explanations to each other in an offline way. So we don't have to rely only on these 13 minutes. Can you imagine a group of 13 people that trying to understand each other for 15 minutes? And it doesn't work, simply doesn't work. Do you like to have drink with the people that come from abroad? Yes? Well, go and do it. Unfortunately, I do not drink. And I would very much love to join you, but I traveled with my family. So it is this kind of work balance I've seen in the previous talk. I have 60 people in 6 different teams for 4 different clients. And when my kids go to bed, I sit down at 10 o'clock and work until 1 so I can catch up with the States. And I catch up with the States in order to have my people not sitting that late. Because it could be only me working that late, and I'm used to. And then my guys have a sleep. My wife is school teacher, so she gets very early. So she's stone dead at 10 o'clock. So she's sleeping, so I work late. And I have understanding, hopefully I have their understanding. And whenever I have customers on site, I always organize an event where whole team can get with those guys and have a drink together and everything that we can do together. Funded by the company. Because I personally believe that's important. But do not take it as granted. I've been to UK, to Germany, that people just at 5 o'clock go home. And I went alone in the office, so since nobody wanted to invite me somewhere, so I did work. How to deal with? All depends. Friday night, Friday evening, I told to my team, if somebody asks you about a meeting after 6 o'clock, let me know. I want to cut this out. It's a tough one, but I want to cut it out. I don't want somebody from the important developers or managers or whoever just to think all of a sudden that he or she needs to have a meeting because there is a great idea that needs to be discussed right now. Well, I don't like meetings that are constantly rescheduling. I hate those, and I had to make several scenes to our customers to cut this out. Your opinion about? This means in which day we should meet. What does it mean?
Who asked the question?
Guys, help me. What does it mean? On which is the best day to meet?
Oh, well,
No?
hold on. I'll give the guy a mic. Hold on.
Yeah, so it means that in our company we have some days in week where there can't be any meeting. So this day is called no meeting day.
Okay, and you like it?
Yes,
Is it working for you?
yes.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I never experienced that, but I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well done. It's a good thing.
Thank you.
This is a good thing.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I had the honor to participate in the first PyCon Balkan conference, and it worked very well. Very nice conference, well organized, interesting speakers, and very nice audience. So you have to be jealous to those who made it, and you cannot. Next year is for you.